2016, end of 16, Tesla. What was the model again?
Model S.
Model S. Ludicrous. Crazy fast car. And we're gonna go test drive it in just a little bit. Well, let's go take a drive. So do you have to punch in anything like to make it go super fast?
Yeah, I'll show you what we're gonna do.
And today we're going with Mark Manning here. Professional Tesla driver.
So in the settings, you have all these different settings for the Tesla car, so you can change the way it drives, how fast it is, and how it steers and everything. Kind of like a giant iPhone. For this, we'll put it into Ludicrous Plus mode and approve that. So that'll give us our maximum performance there. We'll take a short little drive here.
Is there a drag strip?
I'm sure we'll find a little back road here so that we can behave. But it has a whole lot of power. We actually don't need all that much space.
You can't even hear the car on.
No, actually, all you're hearing is the fan from the AC. If you turn off the AC, it's dead silent. There's no transmission, so it doesn't change gears. It's all computer controlled, of course, for traction control.
So is this car actually drive by itself?
Yes, this one does. This has the autopilot. We can do that maybe on the way back.
Do you just punch in a destination on the car and then it just goes to that destination?
Technically, the cars can do that, but there's like a legal thing that stops Tesla from being able to turn that on. So right now, you can think of it as a super duper cruise control. You get on the highway, you tell it where you want to go, and you know, the car will slow itself down. We'll do just a quick little burst here.
Oh!
So that's 70.
Yeah, okay.
So at 0 to 60.
I think I left my ass back there. Hold on a second. Can you turn around?
it's quite a kick though, right? So that's 0 to 60 in 2.2 seconds, I think is what it is.
I think my spine is in the back seat.
And it'll do that with no noise. It doesn't spin the tires, it doesn't slip, it doesn't do any of that sort of stuff. And you can do that all day. A lot of people say, well, it's fast, but only for a bit. You run out of battery. That's a total myth. You can do that all day long.
Yeah, this is probably faster than I've actually sat in any vehicle on this planet.
That's surprisingly fast though, right?
Hell yeah.
And what I'll do is I'll show you now that we get up here is that what makes it really fast. The dead stop is where it's the fastest, but when you're driving around town, what makes it really fast is there's no lag between when you hit the accelerator and when the car takes off. In a really fast car, if you're going 40 miles an hour and you want to accelerate, you got to downshift, you got to build boost, and you got to get moving.
Yeah.
In this, it's instant. The faster you put your foot down, the faster it takes off, because it doesn't have to do any of that. It doesn't have to build power. It has maximum torque all the time, and it doesn't have to downshift because it doesn't have a transmission. So you get instant power.
So have you humiliated other like hot rods and stuff?
All the time. It's now the car speed trails off after about 100 miles an hour because it doesn't have a transmission to go into a second gear, right?
Okay.
But the way it launches and builds power, there's almost no gas engine that can accelerate with it. It takes $1 million supercars to be able to match the 0 to 60 time of the electric cars. And that's why you see a lot of these Ferraris and Lamborghinis going to kind of a hybrid, so they can get the launch from the electric car, but then the top speed of the big V12 engines or something like that. But
yeah, this
see, like right now we're going 20 miles an hour. But as soon as you touch it, you're up to 50 miles an hour in a short distance because it accelerates so quickly.
Yeah.
Throw the phone out of your hands too.
I think I almost swallowed my phone.
With no noise or anything, so keeps the cops off of you pretty good. But it works out pretty well. We'll get up here, we'll turn around, we'll see if we do some autopilot on the way back. We don't get lost up here.
Gee, that's a good sized house.
It is. It's actually some nice houses out in this area.
Okay, so you're gonna set it up on autopilot?
Yeah, we'll go get out of this residential neighborhood and put the autopilot on so you can see what it looks like when it's driving without you driving. This is my 4th Tesla. I keep upgrading it when they come out with a newer, faster one.
So, is this the fastest one out on market right now?
Yes, this is the Ludicrous Plus. This is currently the fastest accelerator one.
And this is and as far as a sedan, right?
Yeah, this is the sedan, which is the fastest of all the Teslas. But Tesla makes an SUV, a pretty sizable SUV, and that accelerates only like 0.2 of a second slower than this thing. And then they make the cheaper model, which is the Model 3 and the Model Y. And I had one of those too. And they're about half the price of this for the performance ones. And those still accelerate 0 to 60 in about 3 seconds, which is as fast as any, exotic supercar. You can have one of those for 50 grand. It's pretty amazing.
Yeah, I've seen more and more Teslas out on the highway and stuff.
Yeah, you will as the prices continue to come down and Tesla keeps making cheaper and cheaper models.
And I've seen a lot of charging stations also being made, like at hotels and stuff.
Oh yeah, as they make more cars, they need more of the charging stations. Tesla right now has only the only fast charging network there is. So if you look behind us, how much distance we put between that car and us.
Oh yeah.
In just a few seconds. But Teslas right now, they charge from dead to full on one of those new chargers in about 20 minutes. So when you're on the highway, you drive for 3.5 hours, 4 hours, depending on the one you have.
Yeah.
And then you charge for 20 minutes. So usually you stop at a restaurant or a shopping mall that has the chargers and you put the car to charge, have lunch, it texts you when it's done, and you come back out.
That fast, it'll charge it fully, like a full charge?
Yeah, it'll charge the car.
Okay.
So you can get back on the road. And usually when you're traveling somewhere, the GPS knows where you have to stop and how long you have to stop for. So you don't need to stop full time charge at each stop. It's going to tell you, you only stop here for 10 minutes, if that's all you need to get to your next destination, to the next charger. But
oh, I see.
We'll turn on. This is autopilot.
Okay.
So I have no hands on the wheel and that sort of stuff. The car will drive itself. It'll change lanes by itself, but you can tell it to change lanes and you can watch it, change lanes and speed up or whatever you want to do. So you kind of just kick back.
So does it detect like other cars around it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so you can see here on the gauges, the car, it sees that guy's car next to it, can see the lines. It'll recognize trash cans or stoplights and stop signs, that sort of stuff, and it'll do its thing. So it's great for the highway because you kind of put it on cruise control and you just kind of kick back.
So so people can be having a hamburger or something as they're driving.
It won't let you fall asleep. That's a myth. Every so often the car will actually make you wiggle the steering wheel to let it know you're still paying attention. And if you don't, it'll pull you off to the side of the road.
Wow.
Turn your hazards off. So those videos of guys who are sleeping in their car while they're driving down the road, you couldn't do that for more than a couple of minutes at most. So, but it works great because when you're driving, you're not doing that, side to side motion the whole time you're on the highway.
Yeah.
You can drive a long time because you have those forced stops.
So now when they redid the Tesla autopilot, it really puts it into autopilot.
Yeah, the newer versions of the autopilot are so much more sophisticated than the older ones. And like I said, right now, technically the cars can drive themselves with nobody in them. But there's legal questions around that that are stopping them from being able to do that.
Okay.
So we'll flip around here. But Teslas they're great. I mean, they get a bad rap from a lot of people online that don't know a lot about them.
Yeah.
Car enthusiasts, I don't understand it because it's so fast. You kind of have to embrace the new technology that's coming out. But they don't have maintenance. There's no oil changes, no fluids to check. The brakes, you only change every couple 100,000 miles because you never use them.
Wow.
So as soon as you let off the accelerator, the car starts to slow down. That feels like braking. It's kind of like an engine brake, but you're not. You're just letting off the accelerator. So you can pretty much drive them with one foot is essentially what you're doing.
So as soon as it's kind of like a go-kart. As soon as you let go of the gas pedal, it starts slowing itself down.
Slowing itself down.
Wow.
And what it's doing is putting that momentum to slow you down. It's charging the batteries back up. So let's say you go up a tall mountain, you're going to use a lot of charge going up. But as you come back the other side, as you coast down the mountain, it recharges back into the battery. So it gives you, extends your range that way. Because every time you stop, it puts that energy back.
Okay. Yeah, it's just... What about the safety features of the vehicle, like airbags or like if somebody hits it, are you gonna walk away from it?
If you look up the safest cars ever made, the top 4 are Teslas. They are the safest vehicles ever tested by the Highway Institute for Safety. Every single one of them.
Okay.
It's the highest rated one. And I think a lot of that has to do with the build of the car. They're very simple. They have, this one being the performance one, has 2 engines. They're about the size of a watermelon. They're between 2 sets of wheels. They're not connected to each other. They're all electronic. The battery is the floor of the car. So during an accident, it drops away from the car. And the rest of the car is empty. I mean, there's nothing under the hood, right? It's a trunk.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I'll show you when we stop. It's a trunk. You can put stuff in it.
So what's in the trunk then?
A trunk. And since there's no exhaust system, there's no fuel tank back there, that trunk is huge and drops down. And in some Teslas, you can actually get 2 more seats back there, like the old station wagons where they face out the back window. Yeah. You can actually order your Teslas like that. So with all of that space for airbag safety, crumple zones, and that sort of stuff, I mean, makes it very safe.
So whenever you have kids, you're gonna have plenty of room for strollers and
tons of room back there. The SUV that Tesla makes is a massive vehicle. It doesn't look so much on the road, but when you're driving it around and trying to live with it, it's huge.
So how heavy is this car?
Very heavy. These cars are well over 5,000, almost 6,000 pounds. All of that weight is in the battery, and the battery is in the floor. So it makes it a super stable car. It's hard to flip them over and things like that because they have such a low center of gravity. But it also helps them to handle pretty well.
So how many batteries does this one have?
So the batteries, Tesla has an interesting way to go about the batteries. It has batteries about the size of AA's.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and it has thousands of them. I want to say this one has 5,000 or 6,000. I don't know if that's the right number.
I always thought it was like a car battery.
No, it's a bunch of little batteries. And that's one of the things that Tesla's able to kind of make sure that the batteries don't get worse over time. If you ever had a laptop, when you buy it, battery life is good, but over a while, it charges less and less.
Yeah.
The way they do it on this is they charge up all those batteries and then they discharge them randomly and evenly. So instead of the same batteries charging and discharging every day, since it's spread evenly across them, they degrade evenly. And Tesla says you'll get 500,000 to 1 million miles out of a battery. So the car has it's like a unlimited mile, 15-year battery warranty. If anything happens to the battery, Tesla replaces it for
15 years?
15 years, unlimited miles.
So does this, how is the car being counted? Is it by hours or miles?
By mileage.
Okay.
Yeah, so it has an odometer on it and that sort of thing.
And you said that the batteries should last about 15 years. So when you have to replace the batteries, are they pretty costly?
We don't know. Probably very expensive, but we don't know because nobody has had a Tesla where they've had to pay out of pocket to replace a battery.
Oh.
Every single one they've ever made still has the battery under warranty so far. I think the very first Teslas are just now coming out of warranty for that stuff.
I mean,
nobody's really replaced them. If you have a car for 15 years, generally you're looking to replace the vehicle.
mm-hmm.
But who knows what battery technology will be and how much it's going to cost when it's all
Yeah.
said and done 15 years from now. I mean, we've seen the changes in 10 years.
Yeah, I mean, it's... But, you know, even like just on a regular motor vehicle, you have to change out alternators and starters and even the batteries. The batteries don't even last 5 years, you know?
Yeah, there's none of that in this car. Like I said, there's no fluids. The only fluid in the whole car is windshield wiper fluid.
So where is the motor, or what does the motor look like? Or is it in the wheels? Or?
It's between the two sets of wheels in this one. Like I said, it's about the size of a watermelon. It looks like an electric motor. It connects directly to the wheels. There's nothing in between.
And this is the computer up here in the dash?
Yeah,
like
so
that's the brain?
This one controls pretty much everything. So all of your settings are here. You can, raise and lower the car. That's kind of neat because if you raise it up somewhere, it remembers where you did that. And when you drive up to it the next time.
What do you mean raise? Like? Yeah,
so see the car, we can lift the car up, right? And the air suspension will raise the car up, so you can go over speed bumps or pull into your parking.
I actually feel the car.
Mm-hmm. You can see it actually goes up quite a lot. 7 inches it goes up.
I can actually feel it raise.
Mm-hmm.
So that has like a built-in like a compressor type thing.
Yeah, yeah. So this is the air suspension. This is an option for this car.
Okay.
But it remembers where we do that. And next time you get to that area, like for example, my office is a high speed bump. So you raise it up for the speed bump and it remembered that. So now when I drive to the office and you start coming up on the speed bump, it automatically raises for you.
Wow.
And then drops back down after. And you can just change that stuff right there. Is all your lighting controls and everything is done here. All of your speed modes. All your autopilot settings, how fast you want it to go over the speed limit and that sort of stuff. All your vehicle settings.
So everything's touched.
Everything's touchscreen on this big touchscreen here. There's buttons on the steering wheel to control some of this stuff, but you don't need to do it everywhere. It has games on it. You want to play games? It has a bunch of these cool toy things. It has a fart mode, right? Let's see. I don't know why. It's they add some silly stuff into it, but it's got a bunch of that cool stuff.
That's a big screen for a little car. So yeah, that was my next question. Can you actually watch movies on it?
Yes, it has Netflix.
Okay.
Netflix and Hulu. You can't watch it while you're driving.
Okay.
But let's say you go to a charger and you need to stop at that charger for 30 minutes, whatever it is.
Yeah.
You can sit there and put Netflix on.
So as long as it's in park mode.
Mm-hmm.
You said it doesn't have a transmission, so...
It still has a park mode, so what it does is you'll hear it now. That is the brakes, the hydraulic brakes holding the car in place. Okay. That's your park mode, basically. Okay. Right? It just turns off the accelerator, and then it just engages the emergency brakes on the car.
Okay. Well, let's go look outside. Yeah, you said the trunk space. It's got some. Oh yeah.
This one, being the dual motor one, has a little less space because right behind here is the motor. If you have the single motor ones, you can see where it cuts out and the space extends way in there, so you get even more space. But that's my only fluid.
Wow.
Okay. That's it. Just gotta make sure that's topped off.
Let's go see that trunk to hide some bodies.
So, this is the trunk here, and it goes way back in there. But you have more space underneath, right? And you have more space off to the side in those little cubbies. and then the seats all fold completely flat into the
Okay.
inside of the car.
So it's
you
actually
can
a
extend-
hatchback kind of because
yeah,
it's
a big hatchback.
yeah. So you're able to, so you can lay down the seats and it'll still be a hatchback, right?
You'll still have the whole way through.
Wow. I didn't even realize that's
the
like a
back
hatchback.
seats?
It's like a hatchback sedan.
Yeah,
huh?
it's kind of weird, huh?
Yeah, it's neat. I like it though.
In the back seats, you'll notice there's no hump in the center because there's no transmission there, so you have a flat floor in the center.
Oh yeah. Those are sharp looking seats though.
Yeah, all heated seats and that sort of stuff. It's pretty good. This one's got the big wheels and the monster brakes and that sort of stuff because it's a pretty heavy vehicle.
Well, this is like, again, this was the Model S.
This is the Model S, the Ludicrous Plus.
Ludicrous Plus. Okay. And we want to thank Mark Manning for showing us, giving us a ride. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel, and we'll check you out later.